Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to the 45th edition of the Take One Podcast, aka the 5th edition of the Wrestling Corner. Now, for those who tuning into this, the Wrestling Corner is just a version of the Take One podcast that I do every week, once or twice a week, depending on if there is a WWE pay-per-view event. And it's all talking about wrestling. The other episodes of the podcast are just strictly, movies, shows, or whatever else I want to talk about. But the wrestling podcast episodes are just mainly about wrestling, of course. But if you're listening to this, obviously you know all that. So this episode, I'm going to be getting into, as usual, the good and the bad, but also there is a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view event coming up this Sunday, and I will be giving my predictions. Last time, when No Mercy came around, I was really late in getting my predictions out. It was stuff going on, and I wasn't able to put it out, today, like basically on a Friday or a Saturday. If I try and do predictions, I try and do it within those days or sometime early in the week. But I had put it out late on a quick take, so I wanted to get this out as early as I could. And I just got done watching Raw and Smackdown, and so I wanted to give my thoughts. First, I'm going to start off with the good and bad of Raw and Smackdown, then I'm going to get to my predictions. So, with no further ado, let's get started. Like I said before, what I'm doing is not a recap. I'm not going to recap the whole show of every single thing that happened. It's a lot of things I'm going to miss because it wasn't just that interesting. If I didn't touch on it, it was, wasn't that interesting for me to cover. But in any case, I'm going to start off with the good things that I found on Raw this week. So this episode of Raw started off with Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. As you know, it was set up last week because Dean Ambrose went up against Strowman just out of just nowhere, just the spur of the moment because he wanted to. And so Dean said that Seth is too predictable and all that stuff. So Seth challenged Braun Strowman. Or he went to Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle set up the match for him. And so this is what we got this week. So the match goes in and it has reversals or whatever. And then Seth Rollins does the I ain't gonna say stupid thing, but he does the thing of he smacks Strowman. And Strowman calls him, says, "Are you stupid?" or whatever. So I feel like them doing that was basically a good thing for Strowman to do, to make him just kind of like this big monster. And I love the way they constantly building him up, and I constantly say that. With this, I'm gonna try and run through it just quick because I'm still trying to hit the 20-minute, 30-minute mark or whatever. But in any case, so after that, Rollins tries to finish. He tries to do the finishes, but is met with a clothesline, which was actually pretty good. And then he gets hit with a power slam, and then another one after the match. And then once the match is over, Dean Ambrose, he comes out and he gives a little offense. He gives a little offense with to Braun Strowman, but eventually gets laid out and he gets 2 choke slams, which he does the choke slam that he did to, I believe it was, what was it? Was it Kalisto? Where no, it was Enzo. It was Enzo. I knew it was somebody small, but he picks up Enzo, like how he picks up Enzo while he was laying on his back and picked him up and just slammed it again. Did the same thing to Dean Ambrose this time, and then after Braun Strowman leaves out, the bar comes in, which is of course Sheamus and Cesaro. And they basically do both of their finishers on Seth and Dean Ambrose and just leave them laying right there. Next, it was another kind of it wasn't a big thing, wasn't too big, but I enjoyed the whole thing with the presence with Mickie James. Basically, Alexa giving Mickie James the gifts of the pins in the locker and stuff like that, and the walker, and saying it depends in the locker room. and the walker and all that stuff. And then one thing I didn't like was the whole hallway thing with Alicia Fox and Emma. It's just horrible acting all around. But in any case, so she goes to confront Alexa, but then ends up finding Nia Jax, who opens up the door, is right there waiting for her as well. And so they basically just set up a match for later on. Next, one of the other things that I did like was the whole walk with Elias thing. I wasn't really too enjoying Elias too much before. I'm not saying that like I hated him or I didn't like him, but it wasn't anything that just, sit me like, oh, I like Elias, like, man, he's real cool, whatever. But this how he basically interact with the crowd when he said, who wants to walk with Elias? And then the crowd just goes, they just start booing him. And he just comes out and says, don't start with me, Denver. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. And so he basically just starts running down Denver and just telling them like, I guess they're called the Mile High City, and so he says that he'd rather be drowned a mile below sea level before he ever lives there. And I thought that was kind of like funny as hell, just for him to say something like that. I love how he plays off of the audience, like that is hilarious as hell. Next, Alexa Bliss, like I said, Alexa Bliss is always a plus. Just the sight of her. I didn't care about the match, just the damn sight of Alexa Bliss. That is going on the good things. So, yeah, I could, look at her all day. And then the next, one of the other things I did like about this was the Reigns versus Miz match, which is actually a pretty decent match. It was not really, too interesting at the beginning, but then started to pick up steam. But in any case, like, I love just kind of like how it began with Roman attacking the Miz Taraj on the side of the ring and basically giving them both Superman punches and then doing the drive-by. I think that's what they call it, which is kind of weird. Which you would think that they wouldn't call a move the drive-by, which what you would call if someone ride past your house and starts shooting. But in any case, since it's supposed to be PG, I guess, whatever. But in any case, he does the drive-by on Axel, and he basically just takes him out and beats him with chairs and just take him out for the rest of the match. So they won't be able, so basically it'll just be Miz alone. And so they basically go at it, and then the Miz, he does his it kicks, I guess is what they call it. That's what they've been calling it or whatever. And so, just like, I thought that they were going to let him get that last kick. And I was hoping that they was going to let him get that last kick because he can't keep going against Roman doing that and then Roman catching at the last minute. Like, it's going to get boring after a while. I hope they don't do it for the pay-per-view. But in any case, so he does the it kicks. Roman catches the last one and turns it into a power bomb. And then later on then, Roman Reigns, I'm forgetting his freaking name. Roman Reigns gets a Superman punch, but the Miz counters it and turns it into a skull crushing finale, which I was shocked. I'm like, yo, I like this or whatever. That was actually a pretty cool spot. Eventually, well, not eventually, but inevitably, Reigns kicks out, so he didn't get the pin. Reigns later on hits him with another Superman punch, but he gets no pin on the Miz. So I was like, okay, cool. They trying to do something with this. They're trying to make it, real interesting. And so after that, the bar comes out, interrupts the match. Reigns ends up winning by disqualification. And they end up beating up Roman, and they put Roman in the neutralizer. And then he gets a bro kick, and then he gets a skull crushing finale. And they all leave the ring just like last week. And then, but how he did with the Miz Raj. And then they all come back to the ring and basically surround the ring like the Shield used to do. And they get back up in the ring. And then they set up the finisher that the Shield used to do for Roman. basically just mocking the Shield, and then they end up topping it all off with the whole Shield thing or whatever when they put their fist out and all that stuff just to mock the Shield. So you know that's a setup for the Shield to become the Shield once again, because there really was no reason for Sheamus and Cesaro to come out, but I guess it's whatever. One of the other things that was kind of interesting was Bray Wyatt. So Bray Wyatt, for a while, like, I have been behind Bray Wyatt. Like, I've been rooting for him. I've been wanting him to get like a push. I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't really like enthused. Like, I wasn't really intrigued. I'm trying to look for the word, but just by his title reign, like it was just something they wanted to get to him. They made him a transitional character, or not a transitional champion, and I didn't like that. I really didn't, and I just really haven't been liking what they did with Bray Wyatt's character. But it seemed like they're trying to go a whole new angle. Now, when Bray Wyatt first started, like, just kind of like all the way to now, he's had the Wyatt family. Like, he then broke up the Wyatt family and brought it back together. Then he breaks them up again. So, yeah, it was back and forth with that. I mean, of course, you guys already know. But, yeah, he's so... It's just, I hate what they've been doing with him. Like, just creative just seem like they don't know what the hell to do with Bray Wyatt. And so now it seems like they're trying to do something different by bringing not another Wyatt or another person to join the Wyatt family, or, him not rebuilding the Wyatt family again. But there more than likely is going to be a Sister Abigail. Now, we've been basically told that she's dead. He talks about it like she's dead. And even with the Randy Orton angle, it's like you get the idea of like, oh, she's dead or whatever, but he says that she's alive, and then you can kind of guess from there that Sister Abigail is going to be a real person. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's going to be this Sunday, but that's what he teased. So hopefully it is something good. Sasha, another good thing. I love looking out Sasha. Just like Alexa, that's just one of the good things about Raw. That's just one of the good things about Raw. And then which brings us to Enzo addressing the cruiserweights. Now, this was very interesting because I don't really watch the WWE Network. Just like a lot of people, I watch just the pay-per-view events. That's the reason why I have the WWE Network for. And so, since I only do that, I don't really watch 205 Live. I may eventually end up getting into NXT and kind of incorporating that into this Wrestling Corner podcast of not recaps, but the good and bad of the week. But in any case, so I didn't know that once Raw went off, the cruiserweights, basically Braun Strowman came out for no apparent reason and just basically power slammed Enzo in the ring, and then the cruiserweights came out and just beat Enzo down. I didn't know all that. I've heard actually I ain't gonna say I didn't know all that. I heard about the whole the cruiserweights beating down Enzo, but I didn't know that Braun Strowman came out and did what he did and basically, just told them just go ahead and get it. So I didn't know all that. So that was actually a pretty interesting thing. This was a certified, I ain't gonna say certified heel turn for Enzo. Enzo is a certified heel. Where that puts Neville, I think that's the reason why they took it out of. I guess that's the reason why they took Neville out of the championship picture, because of the simple fact that they wanted to turn Enzo completely heel, and this is the only way that they could do it. Which I don't have no problem with it. I really don't have no problem with it because he fits the heel persona, especially with the way he was carrying himself. And I'm gonna get to that a little bit later. But in any case, so. He basically doesn't have anybody else to fight because he had that, no touch clause last week to where if any of the cruiserweights touch him, then they forfeit their chance at going at the championship. I guess I'm basically just while he's holding it, you know. And so since they can't, basically go at him because they forfeited that chance, there wasn't really nobody else on the cruiserweight roster that can do it. And so that's when Kurt Angle said that he signed. I'm sorry, I'm keep kicking the microphone stand, but that's when Kurt Angle said that he signed a new person to the cruiserweights, and yeah, it was Kalisto. But anyway, so Kalisto comes out. Well, actually, before even all that stuff happened, like I just want to say that Enzo had a good promo. When Enzo is by himself or he's with around somebody that doesn't have good promo skills, Enzo is the light of the party. You just can't put Enzo against somebody who has great mic skills, as shown when he basically went head to head with the Miz. No, it just he could not go. He tried, but he just could not do it. Miz was too much for him. If he went against a John Cena would tear him apart. The Rock would tear him down. So it's best that they put him in the ring with somebody who has mediocre mic skills or just don't really have mic skills at all. That way it can build him up and make him look stronger, because this was actually a pretty good promo. I actually enjoyed this better than the other one. And one thing that I had said on my podcast before about the last promo was like he was just talking about everybody that was, well, kind of like he was basically just talking about everybody that's up in the cruiserweight. And I'm like, he didn't really like get at them like that. He didn't really like give them what for, so I'm just thinking like, man, it was so much that could have been done with that, and I just wish that he could have had better material to work with, or just did a little bit better, because it was right there. Like all he had to do was just take it and run. And this week he took it and ran. Like he was going down the line. Like he was basically, you this, you that, blah blah. You this, you need to do this, and he was just basically just going down. Like he actually made me smile a little bit. I'm like, yo, this is actually a pretty cool little segment or whatever. This was a good little promo. I liked it. And this is why all of them were surrounding the ring. And so Kalisto comes out and takes him down, and yeah. And then you have Roman Reigns sitting in the back hurting from the beatdown that he suffered from the Bar and the Miz. And then all you see is Dean Ambrose come stand next to him. Nothing is said, but you can tell by just the expression on their faces that, it was okay. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you see Roman Reigns look to his left, and then you see Seth Rollins come over, and you hear everybody cheering. Now, I ain't even gonna front. I smiled when I saw that, because it's like, this is something that you didn't see in this type of way. I mean, you've seen them all in the same ring before, but at the same time, it wasn't like, yo, we about to reform this shit, So it actually made me smile a little bit. And then nothing was said. It was all looks and expressions and stuff. And Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins just walk away and leave Roman Reigns right there. So you already know that something's about to happen next week. Just the bad stuff. Like I said, a lot of stuff I don't touch on. It's not that it's bad. It's basically just not that good enough to where I want to talk about it. But it was only like really two bad things about Raw that I didn't like. The Alicia Fox and Emma just thing where they was in the hallway and trying to lead Mickie James towards her locker room to where like the Depends and the Walker was at. It was just, they just don't know how to act, and just how certain, and I guess it's just mainly the females, because I'm gonna get the SmackDown, because SmackDown had kind of the same thing. But yeah, that was just one of the bad things about Raw. And then Kalisto, yeah, I don't know, we don't nobody care. unless give him something more to work with. It's just Kalisto is just Kalisto. But this week I give it a 6. It wasn't. Do I even want to give it a 6? I mean, they had a lot of redeeming qualities. So I ain't even gonna front. So I give it a 6. So this week it gets a 6. It's lower than last week, I believe. Yeah, but yeah, it was just this week could have been better. On to SmackDown. I actually went a little bit longer than what I wanted to, but I'm gonna try and get through this quick because I don't really have too many notes on SmackDown this week. But matter of fact, there's only 2 things I did like about SmackDown this week. So yeah, the first thing I did like was the whole Uso New Day exchange. Their promo was actually pretty good. The Usos have been killing it. I love how they go off of each other. Well, one brother says one thing and then the other brother comes right off of them and say that, and they just do it flawlessly. So that they be putting in work, that they be working hard and trying to learn this and stuff like that. They don't stumble, like they just go back to back. So I like that. And then when the New Day came out, the New Day, not all the time, but majority of the time they can give good promos, and they actually gave a good promo, and I really enjoyed it. That was kind of like one of the best things that came out of SmackDown this week. Another thing that came out of SmackDown that I found was that could be put in the good pile was the face-to-face with Shane. It kind of started off like it wasn't going to lead to nowhere. It was just, but then Shane was calling KO to the ring. KO said that he didn't want to come to the ring, that he was going to save it for Sunday. And so Shane went after him and caught him in the lobby and basically just went head-to-head. KO got the better of him. Basically, put him down by running his head into like a little wall, or I don't know. He ran his head into something, and so he came out to the ring and he was just talking smack. And then Shane McMahon came out, and basically they started brawling again up in the ring, just going back and forth. Matter of fact, I completely forgot. I got it in my notes and I'm not even looking. Yeah, he basically ended them off by putting Shane through a table out in the lobby area. So, let's get back to what I was saying. So, they're in the ring and they're brawling. Oh, shit. Where am I at? They're in the ring and they're brawling. And basically, KO is just dominating. Like, he is just completely dominating. Just basically just going ham. And so, he basically finishes him off with a pump-up powerbomb. And then that's basically it. You see Shane looking at him kind of sitting up a little bit, still hurting, and just was just pissed, and we just leave it at that. Some of the bad stuff that I didn't like about SmackDown this week, which SmackDown was just not a good show this week. It really was not. Last week was better, but yeah. So some of the bad things about it was at the beginning of the show you had Renee Young come out and interview Shinsuke Nakamura, and she asked him what did he think about the whole comments that Jinder Mahal said about him last week. And he starts it off by saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." And I'm just like, what? That sounds, I ain't gonna say as bad as Roman Reigns' tater tots statement, but insult, but I don't know. I was just like, yo. When I heard that, I immediately went down and wrote in my notes, "Sticks and stones," to start off. That's basically my notes. So it was just, that was not good to start off with. And yeah, and so Natalya, like I said before, with the women in bed acting, I don't know what it is. I guess they just don't give a damn. But Natalya, just her bad acting, just how she delivers her lines. Natalya, she has not been the type that will make you believe that she is just this force. Now, she has good skill and ability, and she's good in the ring, but other than that, when it comes to like promos and giving a type of raw type of emotion and stuff like that, she just doesn't have it. She just really doesn't have it. And basically just seeing the whole line of James is her dog, and he's the male dog, so I guess that must make you a female dog. You know what that means. I'm like, what? Like, you just saying that, calling her a female dog, that says everything. You could have ended it right there. That's bad in itself. Well, just in how she delivered it. But it was bad in itself. You should just left it there. Instead of saying, you know what that means. That, it was like, yes, we know what you mean. You didn't have to add that little last part. Like, that, it was like, no. It made it just, I would say borderline cringeworthy. Borderline, because it wasn't completely cringeworthy. It was just borderline. But it was, like, these women, they just, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm not going against all women, but it's just, from Raw and SmackDown this week, it's just, they have just horrible acting. I don't know if it was just something that they gave them, like, okay, just learn this and we're going to do this. Not something that they can practice or, whatever, or just make it a little bit better. But it was just like, it was bad. And then the other bad thing about this week was Dolph Ziggler. And it's just how he did his whole entrances and just coming out and with the drums and I don't know. I'm just getting tired of this whole thing with Dolph Ziggler. I'm just really am. It's just quit already. Just ask for your release forms and just go somewhere and just do what you do best. And that's steal a damn show. Just do that, because I know he went in the back and he was like, I know they was giving him like, okay, here, go out with this. This would be cool. This would be funny. And then I know he like, but this is stupid. He's like, just go. It'll be funny. You watch. It's going to be funny. I could picture that's what's happening in the back. I could picture that. And I don't know. I just hated that. But in any case, that ends my good and bad of this week for Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown this week, I give it a 3. It was not a good show. It was not. It had a couple good things. The rest of it, I didn't really care for. Not too much. Matter of fact, the only good things I found about that I did like about this show was the promos. That's it. It wasn't a match or anything. It was just. But in any case, I'm at to run through these just to so I'm not going too long. But these are my Hell in a Cell predictions for this Sunday. And so, I believe I got every single match. I believe. I may be missing one or two or whatever, but I believe I got every single match. But I'm gonna give you my thoughts. I'm gonna just give you my predictions. So we have the kickoff, which was announced tonight. Well, I watched SmackDown tonight, so it was announced tonight. It was tonight to me. But in any case, so for the kickoff show, it's Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable versus the Hype Bros. I think that the Hype Bros, I want to say that they are going to take it, but Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable just recently started their tag team, and they want to get that momentum going. So I don't think that they're going to make them lose something like this yet. Even though it's on the pay-per-view, but even though it's a kickoff, it's still on the pay-per-view. I don't think they're going to make them lose yet. I think they're going to make the Hype Bros probably attack them after the match to turn heel, like just completely. So I think that's mainly what it's going to be. So Benjamin and Gable, I think they're going to take the win for that. Which more than likely I'm not even going to watch because I don't care for the kickoff or the pre-show, whatever you want to call it. Ziggler versus Rude. Rude is going to win. Ziggler, I don't give a fuck about anymore. Rude is going to take it. They have to hype his momentum. They have to make him a good face. Plus, he just got on the roster, so I don't see him losing a lot of matches like that. Especially this is going to be like his first big match on the first. And this is actually his first WWE pay-per-view. I'm not counting the NXT, but his main roster debut on a pay-per-view. So I think Rude is going to take it. Shane versus Owens. Owens is going to take it. By the way stuff had went on SmackDown, I don't think that Shane is going to be able to, take down Owens. I really don't think so. I really don't. So I think Owens is going to take it. I believe Shane is going to give him what for, but I don't think it's going to be enough. AJ versus Baron Corbin. I think AJ is going to retain his title. Baron Corbin this is not going to be it for him right now. If he does win, it's probably going to be like something real quick, but I believe AJ is going to retain. New Day versus the Usos. This is kind of like a hard one. It really was. And I definitively, damn. I want to say I think the New Day are going to retain. I think the New Day is going to retain. I don't think the Usos is going to capitalize this time. And I believe this is the end. I believe this is the end of their feud. Nothing more than this. So yeah, I think New Day is going to take it. Next one is Rusev versus Orton. Orton is going to take it. Orton is my favorite wrestler, but I don't give a damn about this match. To tell you the truth. To actually get more into it, I really don't care about this match. But that's my pick. I feel Orton is going to win. And it's not even just because, he's my favorite wrestler, but it's just, it seems logical. I don't know. Because it don't seem like they're trying to do anything major with Rusev. So, yeah, give it to the vet. Give it to somebody who is a 12-time world champion in their company. So, yeah. And, yeah, whatever. Next one is Natalya versus Charlotte. I think Natalya is going to retain. I don't think Charlotte is going to get it just yet. I think Natalya is going to retain it. And there is a possibility that Charlotte may win, and then what's her name? God damn it, I completely forgot her name. Oh gosh, what is her name? This is going to kill me. I know I could stop this right now and just look it up. Carmella. There we go. Carmella. There's a chance that Carmella could come out and cash in her Money in the Bank contract or whatever after like Charlotte wins. But I think Natalya is going to retain. I think she is. Even going against my better judgment, my bet is on Natalya. Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship. Of course, they're not going to take it off of Jinder's waist, especially now to Shinsuke Nakamura. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, I think Jinder, well, I don't think Jinder. I know Jinder is going to retain. I will be surprised if Shinsuke got it, but it's too soon. Blah, blah, blah. I'm talking like Shinsuke. It's too soon for Shinsuke. That sound like a slogan. It's too soon for Shinsuke. If you can say it like a tongue twister. Too soon for Shinsuke. But in any case, that sounded kind of like just dry. Not even dry, but just sounded weak. Too soon for Shinsuke. Too soon for Shinsuke. I can't do it. But in any case, yeah, it's too soon for him. Jinder is going to retain until they're going to have somebody formidable to take it from him. And right now, Shinsuke is not that person. At least for right now. Next year, give him, more of a momentum. Have him take down some big names. Have him go against like AJ Styles and win that. He didn't already beat John Cena. Maybe beat John Cena again. Beat KO. Beat a lot of other people. But I don't think now is the time. But with that said, those are my predictions for this Sunday. So just to recap all of it, Benjamin and Gable are gonna take it. Rude is going to win. Owens is going to win. AJ is going to win. New Day is going to win. Orton is going to win. Natalya is going to win. And Jinder is going to win. So, those are my predictions. Did I predict any title changes? Nah. Damn. I guess there ain't going to be no title changes if I had the booking. If everything I'm saying is right, there ain't no title change. But in any case, so yeah, that concludes everything that I'm saying for this. This concludes this Take One podcast, episode 45, and episode 5. Is it episode 5? Am I tweaking? I'm like sleepy right now, so I'm recording this at night. Yeah, episode 5 of the Wrestling Corner edition of the Take One podcast. And I'd like to thank you guys for listening. I know I'm sounding kind of off. I'm tired right now. I just got done watching RAW SmackDown. I'm about to go to sleep right after this. Yeah, I've just been working a lot. But in any case, thank you for listening again. And keep checking out my channel or whatever. I got a lot more stuff that I'm going to be putting out. I know I ain't been putting out a lot of stuff this week, but I do have a lot of stuff that I'm going to be doing out for the rest of the week. So keep tuned. Well, stay tuned for whatever I put out. And yeah. So, and I guess this is it. Until next time. Peace.